Welcome, Spiritual Mag. My name's Sam Bell. This is part two of MK Ultra. Hopefully, you've already seen part one. If you haven't, please watch part one first. It's basics. And this is part two. My name's Sam Bell. So, MK Ultra meant covert mind control, individuals being mind controlled. And when the mind is controlled, then the physical body is under control. If the mind is not under control, then the physical body can be made under control, but it takes, iron bars or chains or something. So you want to control the mind of the individual, and you want to do it covertly so they don't know. So that's how you handle millions of people, not two. You want to control a couple million people, you're going to use mind control. Okay, you're not going to use handcuffs. So this is part two, and we're going to discuss more general stuff that is common knowledge, but it might not have been brought to the surface in your mind as of yet. So when you're trying to control groups of people without them knowing, for example, you want them to vote a certain way, you want them to buy a certain product, you want them to dislike a certain person, you want them to like a certain person, you want them to have mixed feelings, you want people to be separated and fight. Whatever that is you want to do, it's going to be controlled by you, because you can't let something spontaneous happen, because things get out of control really quickly. So in MK Ultra, it's a big pressure from the top all the way down, like the implementation of vaccinations. 90 million people on the planet. So, and I mentioned behavior modification. I was trained by the Dr. Lovaas group. Dr. Lovaas group was in, I want to say 74, 73. And it was a high-end group out of LA studying behavior modification from a, quote, military perspective. The pamphlet, the bureaucracy of how each step to get humans to do certain things. And it's stuff we all do naturally, but we've never broken it down into minute steps. But when you break it down to minute steps, pretty soon you can get people to do stuff. So Google definition of behavior, and I mentioned before in MK Ultra Volume 1 that I'm trained as speech and language pathologist and behavior modification of the Dr. Lovaas group. And my instructors came from UCSB, UC Santa Barbara, and specifically on autism. That was exactly what the big deal was, because autistic kids, autistic adults had talents that was better than espionage. So the feds were ready to implement as much as possible. So they wanted to figure out how to work with these autistic people. So I was actually trained on how to work with those autistic people and implemented a federal type outline. And I believe I'm the first speech pathologist to do it, to adapt what was there to speech and language pathology. So, and then I just went into it. So anyway, behavior, according to Google, behavior is the range of actions and mannerisms made by individuals, organisms, or systems in response to their environment. It encompasses everything a living being does, including physical movements, emotional reactions, and social interactions, as well as how inanimate entities or mechanical systems function under specific conditions. So it encompasses everything a living being does, okay? Behaviors. So I said before, we take old habit patterns and introduce new habit patterns. So you're thinking arms, legs, shooting a basketball, hitting it, whatever the physical thing. Well, that includes lips, teeth, tongue, airflow, big time habit behaviors. And these are the things that are connected to, these things are connected to these things, the concepts, the thought forms, the memories, the generalization of memories. So, speech and language and attending, looking and listening, applying your memory are used in communication. Okay, speech is this part of your body. Language is pretty much this part. And attending is the whole part. The whole thing, eyes, looking, hearing, smell, everything. So, communication is when somebody has a thought. Let's say it's this person here. They have a thought. They want to go get some popcorn and a soft drink. So they retrieve a memory that's in their mind of popcorn and soft drink. Let's say it's Orange Crush. Okay. Buttery popcorn with salt. And an Orange Crush with ice. So they don't have it with them, but they retrieve the memory of it. And it's attached to a visual memory of seeing it. It's attached to an olfactory, a smell memory, and it's attached to a surface memory, oral memory, and it's associated with the cold memory, which is oral tactile. And it's associated with these sounds: Orange Crush, large popcorn, extra butter, please, and the salt, $7. Thank you. Extra napkins. Okay? Now, those thought forms, those concepts haven't been communicated. Those are just memories retrieved from experiences in the past that are associated with certain airflow, tidal volume, vowel productions. When you send them to somebody else, now we're starting communication. So you're sending him to this guy. So this person says what they want, the popcorn, the Orange Crush, the ice. And this person over here understands. They got the little paper hat, behind the counter. They understand large popcorn, extra salt, extra butter, large Orange Crush, plenty of ice, please. Okay? So he goes back. He's a high school graduate. He goes back and the Orange Crush is out. It's no more. It's only Pepsi and Coke. So he goes back and says to this one, there's only Pepsi and Coke. Now a thought form's been received, adjusted, and sent back. And so now the first person has a new concept in their mind that, holy shit, there's no Orange Crush, there's only Pepsi or Coke. Now I got to sign a Pepsi or Coke. This back, take a concept from memory, sending it to another one. The other one processes it and adds something to it. They add something to it. And they send it back, the improved concept, the new concept. Then the original person, their concepts expanded. So you can have two people talking that not very smart. They can say a lot of stuff and not much is going to happen. You can have 10 people who are not too smart and they're all talking. They're still not going to get much better. You have an intelligent person and another intelligent person, two different disciplines, and they can talk and listen to each other and process information wonderful things happen. You get two brains that are doing stuff. Two brains that are doing stuff and adding. So that communication aspect is a component of MK Ultra. So in MK Ultra, there's not much back and forth. Share a concept, they receive it, they add something to it, back to the original. MK Ultra is you're just blasted with shit. Blasted with shit. Blasted with shit. From the day you're born. So, oral musculature attached to the sounds and the memories that you have of things in the past. Say, double with the chocolate shake at In-N-Out Burger. Okay, double cheeseburger, chocolate shake, and In-N-Out Burger. Okay, I don't have one, but just saying those sounds, that's what comes into your mind. You don't have any choice. That's just the way oral motor works with airflow out of your body. And you're not thinking about any of this oral motor stuff, these behaviors. You're not thinking about it. You've never thought about it. Matter of fact, if I asked you, how do you make the sounds in your mouth? You don't have a fucking clue. And you've been doing it a long time. And you're attaching the sounds to memories. So, one more time, but behavior is the range of actions and mannerisms by individuals, organisms, or systems in response to their environment. It encompasses everything a living being does, including physical movements, and physical moments too, and emotional reactions and social interactions, as well as how inanimate entities or mechanical systems function under specific conditions. Okay. Now, behavior modification. This is what I'm trained in. Right, to work with Rain Man. You know Rain Man? That's an autistic person. Dustin in Rain Man. He's actually, he's not on the spectrum. There's no fucking spectrum. I started when autistic meant an autistic person. Then suddenly everything was autistic. I have not yet met an autistic jackrabbit yet, but I've met everything else labeled autistic. So I'm kind of pissed off about that topic. It just is, it's a generalization of, it's just a complete transformation of what it means, having to do with injury from medications and vaccinations with newborns. Hello, the kid's fine, gets the shots, gets the high temperature, and now he doesn't make eye contact. How many times I have to hear that story? Hello? So behavior modification is the definition from Google. Behavior modification is a psychotherapeutic approach that uses the principles of learning, specifically conditioning, to replace maladaptive actions with desirable ones. They make it sound like you're replacing maladaptive with desirable, but you can replace anything with anything. It's best to replace maladaptive with proper, but if you can do that, you can do the reverse too all day long with behavior modification. So it's grounded in operant conditioning and classical conditioning. That's Dr. Lovaas all the way. It relies on a systematic system of rewards, punishments, and environmental controls to shape overt, observable behavior rather than focus on underlying psychological causes. Now let's just take a look at that for a second. Put it in easy words. Let's say there's a child, and it's the middle child in a large family, and they're 8 years old. And they don't get as much airtime at the dinner table as everybody else. The littlest one and the oldest ones, they get more airtime at talking or whatever. So they don't get to talk much. and they're starving to talk about something to get attention. It just goes for a long time. Nobody pays any attention to them, right? So they are not paying attention and they spill their juice, okay, on the table. It's a big disruption. The mother gets pissed off. They got to clean up the stuff in the middle of the meal. And the dad he's pissed off because now his meal's screwed up and he's trying to eat. He's just dished out the food to all the kids. And now his food's already cold. And now the wife's pissed off and everybody's pissed off. And everybody's pissed off. Meanwhile, the kid accidentally knocked the glass over, okay? So the father calls the child over and whacks him. Says, "Get the hell out of here. Go to your room, no dinner." Kid starts crying, goes to his room, no dinner. Okay, so they eat dinner, blah, blah, blah. Mom says, "Okay, here's the kid's plate. I'll call him back in and eat." They go, "Okay." So they call him back in. "Watch what you're doing, jerk. Here, finish this food and shut up. Here's your dessert. Eat your food." Mom talks to the kid for a little bit. The father talks to the kid a little bit. They try to make it work out. We're sorry and, pay attention and, blah, blah, blah. They have a nice conversation with the kid, Actually, the first real conversation they had since Christmas or something. So he smacked the kid and he gets into the room. And then later he gets to come out of the room, gets his food, and then he has one-to-one attention with the parents who feel a little bit guilty. They recognize, the kid, we don't ever pay attention to this kid. So whacking the kid on the butt is a negative. It's a negative reinforcer if the kid never spills his milk again, never spills his juice again. Whacking him on the butt was a negative. The behavior decreased, means it's a negative. However, if for some strange reason it happens again, it's just an accident. The kid spills it to you. There's a bunch of people at the table talking, and they spills it again, same thing, and gets hit, whacked, goes sent to his room, and then they come back and gets his dinner. Well, whacking the kid increased the behavior because now it's happened a second time. So you'd think it'd be a negative, but it's not a negative. It's a positive because the behavior increased. So the rule is, if the target behavior decreases, they received a negative reinforcer. No matter what it is, you might think it's good, but it's a negative. The behavior decreases. If the behavior increases, you gave a positive reinforcer. Okay? Even if you think it's a negative. So the only way you can tell if something's a positive or a negative is if the behavior decreases or increases. That's the first rule. Okay, but usually there's a complete mismatch and things just get worse. The second rule is, if things aren't working, they're not working. It's that simple. And if they're not getting better, they're getting worse. And stop doing whatever the hell it is you're doing. Even if you don't know what it is you're doing that's making it worse. Just stop doing stuff and see which one makes the behavior decrease the target behavior. Okay, so behavior modification is simple in that it's a psychotherapeutic approach that uses principles of learning, specifically conditioning, to replace maladaptive actions with desirable outcomes. That sounds pretty sweet. Let me read it one more time. I give you an example. Specifically conditioning to replace maladaptive actions with desirable ones. Okay? World War II, Battle of Stalingrad, young Soviet soldiers were being forced to go into Stalingrad from the eastern side because Stalingrad on the western side is fighting the Nazis. And these young, some had 1 day's training. These young Soviet soldiers would be pushed in on the eastern side of the city of Stalingrad. Their people, their sergeants, they're standing there with a gun and they're saying, "You need to go that way and do not face this direction towards me, because if you face towards me, I'm going to shoot you." So all the soldiers like, "Okay, man, we're going that way." So specifically conditioning to replace maladaptive actions. I don't want to die. I'm going to go back that way with desirable ones. That's behavior modification. So you can have really big negatives and really big positives, and little negatives and little positives. Okay. So you can think of it like money. Okay. I'm going to go buy a double with chocolate milkshake, fries, a lot of ketchup, $10. Okay, $10. I go, okay, $10. We're going to call your number 84. Double. Yep, thank you. And I go back and sit down. I'm a happy camper, man. Man, you can't find anybody happier than me. Got the food, paid the food, think, got it there, sit in and eat. And I'll go back. I will repeat the behavior. So the behavior is repeating and increasing. That means the hamburger and the fries and the chocolate milkshake and the ketchup and the salt was a positive reinforcer for me to go in there, pull my car over and spend $10 to get some chow. Okay. Pretty simple, huh? Now, let's say I go in there and pull in. It's all red. There's a line of cars. I'm going to go in and pay, you know. So I go in and I go, I want a double chocolate milkshake, get fries, and no one just please. And they go, well, it's $190. I go, huh? What? I can't do that. I spin around, turn around. What changed? The food didn't change. The price changed. Okay? So the behavior is going to decrease like a rock if the money goes up. That's really understandable, right? And if they go in as it's $4.99 for the whole thing, we're going to eat it, every day, right? So, okay, well, it's a bigger. Oh, there's one more little teeny little point here. Okay, I walk in. I want a double chocolate milkshake, fries, extra. No, just salt, pepper, salt and ketchup. Okay, I'll be good. They call my number. Well, they don't call my number. I wait 2 hours. They call my number, 194. And I'm like, well, fuck you. Bye. What the fuck? Wait 2 hours in that burger joint? Now, if I'm really starving and I'm in climbing mountains for 3 days in this place, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to plant my ass in and out and not leaving until I'm full. But if I'm on a normal thing and I got to be here and be there and be over here and be over there, I can't hang out for 3 hours to go eat a hamburger. So what if it's 2 days? You got to wait to get a double. Now, nothing's changed. The same food, the same desires. Just now, instead of waiting 9 minutes in a busy day, you got to wait 2 days. So this time component is a big factor in behavior modification. Big factor. Now, if they go, the Soviet soldier, the sergeant's saying to the young Soviet soldier, you got to go in there and fight the Nazis on the other side of Stalingrad. And if you turn around and come back here, you're going to get shot in 90 years. You go, well, that sounds cool. I'm coming this way. Wait it out over here. You know? Another example. Say, you go apply for a job. You're a jewelry salesman at a place that sells a lot of jewelry, and basically you're just taking orders. You can do it because they go, we want this. It's like a Costco thing. You take them like that one, and it's good pay. So you go and say, I'd like to apply for the job, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, it starts at $55 an hour. It's an 8-hour day, full benefits, sick leave, all that kind of shit. You got a month paid vacation to start. You cool? Yeah, sign me up. Okay. I get paid every 2 weeks. Okay. Get about 200,000 a year. So you're going to get about 50,000 every week. No, 5,000. Okay. So, same job, same situation. They go, you know what? We got a new computer system. The simplest thing for us to do is pay you weekly. Is that okay? You're fine. Give me the bread. Instead of have to wait 2 weeks, now every week. That's great. What's changed? Nothing. It's just got there faster. How about if they come to you and go, well, you start at $55 an hour, you got to fold this, fold that, fold this, fold that. You can't pay to fold this free donuts in the morning. And you get paid every 8 years. You're like, huh? How about $300 an hour, you get paid every 10 years? How about $300 an hour, you get paid every hour? So that time factor is exaggerated there, but it goes down into milliseconds, boss. I'm telling you, it's really, really, really powerful. So in behavior modification, you're using an environment that everything's incorporated. And in that environment, everything is super, super structured. Okay. Like see these people in North Korea, right? Or in China, we're just doing the same thing, This behavior mod. See, if you're in the quote free world, they don't really use a lot of negative reinforcers. You get thrown in jail if you really fuck up. But places where they use negative reinforcers, like as much as they use positive reinforcers, people don't. You don't fart, says don't fart, you don't fart. You just wait till you get home and fart. I think. I haven't done a study on that, but I'm not going to do a study either. So, in MK Ultra, we're using speech, the airflow, the language, a process where we're sharing concepts with someone else. They're absorbing and understanding those concepts. They're adding something to it, and they're sending it back to the original person. So it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing back and forth. And it can only go back and forth. If it's not going back and forth, it's not communication. You're just being propagandized. I'm going to watch TV. Good night. You know what I mean? So, in a digital world, the speed with which positive and negative reinforcers can arrive in your eyeballs is faster than you can think. Positive and negative stuff can go into your eyeballs faster than in the real world, non-stop. And when a data bank looks at your behaviors and AI wants to modify your behaviors, then you get like shadow banned, bumped off. Remember when Trump got kicked off? What did he get kicked off? What was it? He got kicked off of something. Not X. Whatever X was before he got kicked off. Funny. Now, in conclusion on this second part, unfortunately, it's challenging to be creative with your thoughts. And to some extent, intelligence is not really associated with imagination, but actually that's the direction that intelligence must go. Because as science, real science, gets into smaller and smaller spaces, teenier and teenier, the whole entanglement and all that stuff, it blossoms and turns out to be real. So we don't have the tech to do that, but we have the inner skills, our willpower, our ability to focus on unconditional love. We have those skills. And those are actually kind of telepathically dormant for most people. Okay, there are episodes around birth and around the transitions that telepathic communications back and forth occur, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting. Okay, I'll give you one last an example of telepathic communications. It's about 5:30 a.m. I'm in a hospital on the ground floor. The room across the nurses station 1. The door is closed. I walk into the rehab room, unlock it, going in, and on the blackboard it says, swallow a vowel, speech eval, swallow a vowel ASAP in that room. I'm like, oh God, okay, here we go. Let's go. So I get my clipboard and I go back down. And the door is closed for that room, and the nurses station's all Filipinas, and there's just a pile of paper and there new admits, and there's a binder with his name on it, but there's nothing in it. The last thing I'm going to do is touch that binder or take it, because they're little ladies, and there's just a bunch of them back there like, there's people going in, people going out. So I knock on the door. Now I'm dressed Mr. Bell. I got the white coat and the name tag stuff. So I knock on the door. May I come in? And I open the door, and I look in, and it's a double room, but there's just one bed in there, and that's by the window. And the curtain's closed, and there's a gentleman in the bed, and obviously he's on his way out. He's going any minute. He's probably 90, tall gentleman. And on the other side of the bed, on the window side, I can see the wife, I assume, and the 2 sons. The 2 sons are grown men, and I assume it's the wife. And she looks worse than he does. I'm afraid she's going to pass, right? I'm afraid she's going to pass. And there's no chairs in this room, right? So I walk in, and I come in and I look. I'm on this side of the bed, and they're on that side with the window. And he's in the last stages, more or less. So I introduced myself. Hi, my name's Sam Bell. I'm the speech pathologist. I'm just going to do a quick let's take a quick look at your dad. And the sons get all pissed off right away. He's pissed off at me. Who the fuck are you? And he doesn't need speech therapy. God damn it, get the fuck out of here, right? So I just have to ignore him. So I look in the guy's mouth. There's a whole bunch of pills and shit stuck in the back of his throat. That's what happened. See, he had a big stroke. They took him to the hospital. Hospital does everything, gets shoved down there, and pills and all this other stuff. And then they kick him out to this subacute care, different facility, different building, different corporation. And we get him out. Nobody's going to go in his throat and take all the shit out of the back. They're just going to pretend. Nobody's going to go down there and look. So I spin around, get some towels, get the crap out of the back of his throat. God, poor guy. His tongue is dry and cracked on the shit they put in his throat in the back. And now I'm really worried about her. So I said to the sons, what happened? They went to bed. He had a big stroke. they'd been up all night. He had a big stroke at the hospital. Then he had another massive stroke at the hospital. And they said, well, we'll just let him pass on, but bring him over here across the street to this skilled nursing facility. So they brought him across the street, and they had been there like an hour. And when I walked in, so they'd been up all night, horror stuff. So I thought she was going to die, and there was no chairs. So I said to the sons, I'm going to be here cleaning them up and stuff. I promise you I won't go anywhere. Okay, I've done a lot of hospice work. I promise I won't go anywhere, okay? And we have to deal with the cards the way they are right now. And we don't need your mom to have some horrible trauma. There's a restaurant across the street, across the El Camino. There's a nice little place. It's brand new, just opened up. Why don't you guys go over there and get a cup of coffee or breakfast and then come back? I promise I won't leave. And give me your phone number and I'll call you if something happens. So they're kind of like pissed off and they stomp out, go across the street. Well, I'm trying to help the guy, and it's called comfort care. And I was able to comfort him significantly, positioning him and cleaning stuff out. Mostly on his tongue and his lips and gums and teeth, and getting stuff off the top and the back of his tongue that was in there since, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours later. And kind of like getting him ready because he's going to be rigor mortis city. And, probably in a few hours, the county coroner is going to show. So then they bring him out the back door. What are you going to do? So, and he looked all shitty. So I cleaned him up so when they come back, they can see he's like, he's not. So I get a vision of this guy, right? And I mean a real vision. Now this is a fully detailed picture in my mind out of the blue. He's about 19. He's flying an airplane in World War II, flying the hump. He's got the leather helmet. It's like, he's there. I'm like, ooh, look at that. And I knew he was like Burma thing or whatever. So I'm like, ooh, wow. And it was kind of early. It was still early in the morning, and I'm alone in the place, and I'm already, a channel angel. So, but this was pretty startling. Okay, so they come back. And they're a lot better now. They're a lot better. They had coffee, they had juice, and they went to the bathroom, and they came back in. You go from, a dying scene, and you leave and go a place to a little fancy restaurant. It's a whole different environment changes. So they come back, and they're on the other side. Now, his respiration, the nurses have come in there checking on him, regularly. And my goal was to go in there and do a swallow eval to see what texture he could eat and drink for his breakfast. Well, he's not going to eat or drink any breakfast. Sound like an NPO, nothing. Get the doctor's order. He's not, I can ice his tongue. That's what I can do. So they come back in, and she's holding his hand. I'm on his right side. She's holding his hand on the left side, and she's saying, go towards the light. Jesus loves you, and God loves you, and we love you, and we give you permission to go, and go towards the light. And the boys are just standing there, kind of like, strong, handsome men, maybe in their 40s. I don't know. So all of a sudden, at the corner of the ceiling, now there's the window, and then there's the ceiling. There's the ceiling and the walls. And in that corner, a black Cocker Spaniel jumps out of the ceiling down onto the floor, reaches up on my smock, pulls my smock, jumps up on the bed. And how Cocker Spaniels have those short little tails that are going like this, and his tail's just going berserk. So I'm there like, and things like this occur occasionally, and I don't usually share them because I don't know the status of what's going on. So I didn't follow my judgment. So I looked over at the wife and I said, did your husband fly the hump in World War II? She said, yes, he did. That's why my two sons, one's an Air Force pilot, one's a Navy pilot. Now the two guys look at me like, it's like, you know. So then I said, well, I don't know what this means, but I feel I should share it with you. Okay. I just saw this black cocker spaniel come out of the ceiling, jump on the floor, jump on my smog, and jump on his bed, and jumped on top of his bed, and just crazy happy. Well, they burst into tears. The boys burst into tears. The man burst into tears. The wife burst into tears. And she said that was his dog that he loved. So, I don't want to start crying. So I look, yeah, wash my hands, leave. Later in the day, well, of course, he, passed, probably by 9 o'clock. He was probably, it's all over. So, but that afternoon, she showed back up with her minister. And he was scared. He didn't want to meet me. She was insisting that he meet me. So that's just a point in terms of how imagination and the 3D, where we are, there is a merging of perceptions as your consciousness changes. So what's going on around you that you don't perceive is related to your level of consciousness. Going within, knowing that you are a spark of the divine. Okay? Now, MK Ultra is totally designed to make you not do that. That's the last thing you're going to want to do is meditate, go within. Okay? It's not going to work. If you don't meditate, it's not going to work. If you meditate, the door will open, I promise you. It's better to do it while you're incarnated to learn to do these things, because then when you do leave your physical vehicle, when your willpower, your ability to focus, and your unconditional love resonances vacate your physical vehicle, the suit of flesh, when they go to the other side, that's all you got for a long time. And the light will come down and you will go up the light most likely. And when you get up the light, nobody's going to ask you if you were a Catholic or an atheist or a Muslim or a Baptist. Nobody's going to ask you that. The only thing they're going to ask you, the only thing is, who did you love and how did you love them? And everybody's going to be telepathic. And what's called mympathy. This means you feel what they feel. So that's what goes on the other side. The stuff that you love, that's what's up there. The quantity, the amplitude of a love that you feel in your heart while you're incarnated, when you arrive on the other side, that's where you're going to be, boss. You're not suddenly a lot smarter because you left your body. As a matter of fact, a lot of people die and are walking around as ghosts. They think they're still alive. Honestly, you won't feel any different. When you recognize that, when you go within, you recognize it in your heart, not in your brain, not in your mind, in your heart, you have a spiritual umbilical cord that's connected to divine Mother, Father, God. It's connected. Okay? And this earth is a school. So when you come here, nobody gives you any lessons. Nobody tells you the answers. You got to learn every lesson. And you find out that you can't judge someone. You can judge their actions, but you don't really know the big picture. It's not until you pass on and go to the other side, you find out you charted all this stuff so you could learn certain specific lessons. So when you do pass on, You can tolerate and feel comfortable with higher amplitudes of unconditional love energy because this is an eternal thing. Okay. So Earth is a school. You're up here. You decide you want to learn some tough lessons. You come down to Earth. You don't remember anything. You have some tough, damn lessons. And then you go back up to the other side up here. You can tolerate more. And that's an internal amplitude of energy from divine creator source, as you are a particle of divinity, a fractal of divinity, a spark of the divine. Okay. So just because somebody was in MK Ultra and did MK Ultra doesn't mean that their soul is going to be judged. You can judge their actions, but you can't judge their soul. Those MK Ultra people, they did MK Ultra evil stuff. Divine Creator made their soul. Are you going to judge Divine Creator? I don't think so. You can judge the actions of those people. And from those actions, you learn lessons that were not available in heaven. So you chose those lessons before you incarnated, including interactions with MK Ultra. Okay, consciousness is elevating on a planetary level. It might not seem like it, but it is. Give me an example. When Jesus was here, he walked around, he miracles, all that stuff. He didn't really rally against slavery. You know? He didn't raise hell about slavery. Because if he did, nobody would have believed it. Nobody would have gone along with it. It's just too far out. But today, you say slavery, people are like, oh, that's terrible. So consciousness has elevated today. Now, it's only been 2,000 years of that, but anyway, it is going the right direction. So what we're doing now in discussing MK Ultra is we're bringing to the surface, under the light, techniques that are currently used by mainstream media in the digital format. That's the big one right there. And use of AI, artificial intelligence, combined with the data banks, applied through behavior modification and hypnosis. Okay. Now, in conclusion, there's something called a Schumann resonance, 7.83 cycles per second. So inside your head, when everything's cool, there's a place in your head that resonates at 7.83 cycles a second. Everything's healthy. The Earth is the same way. 7.83 for the Earth, too. So you are an Earth pilgrim. You're grounded on the planet. When we elevate our consciousness and resonate more at 7.83 cycles per second with inner visualizations, deep meditations, using your mind and your imagination to be creative and allow yourself to open perception to things that now or used to be or was not even considered. You can do it. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell. Conclusion, MK Ultra, Part 2.